to Alaskan Homemaker. I'm Mary. Today we're going to make some sourdough tortillas. I'm going to do half wheat and half white, and I freshly ground some hard white wheat this morning for these tortillas. I maintain a really small starter, and I didn't decide I wanted to make tortillas until this morning, and we need a half a cup of starter, but it's okay. This is not going to be a half a cup, but I'm just going to put most of it in here and just leave a little bit for my main starter. There's just a little tiny bit in there, but that's enough to get my starter going again. So I'm going to go ahead and feed my main starter. I like to feed my starter 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour and then 1 tablespoon of wheat flour. This is a mix of a whole bunch of like 5 different grains that I ground, and I keep it in the freezer and feed my starter every day. And here it is. I've been leaving mine a little bit thicker, and I like to put mine into a clean jar when I feed it every morning. I like to feed mine often because it keeps it from getting really sour, because for my sweet things, I don't like it to be too sour, my sweet baked goods with sourdough. And now this is all ready, and I'll just leave this on my counter to ferment. And then back to our half a cup of starter that we need for our tortillas. I don't quite have enough, so I'm just going to add some flour and some water to bulk it up right now. And it's basically just getting a big feeding today, and it's going to be fine. I've done this lots of times. So even if you're a little short sometimes, you can just go ahead and make your recipe anyways, and for some things, and it won't hurt. And then I'm just going to pour some water in here. And I'm just going to let that flour absorb some of this water. I'm going to put a little bit of this whole wheat flour in here too. A little more water. Okay, and that's going to be our half a cup of starter, so we're going to get that in there. Now we're going to go ahead and get our flour. We need 3 cups total flour, so I'm using 1.5 cups of all-purpose and then 1.5 cups of hard white wheat that I freshly ground this morning. And this is a half a cup measuring cup. We're going to put a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and we need 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. We need 3/4 cup of warm water. I just put some water in here and then microwaved it for a few seconds. So we're going to get that in there. now we'll give it a good mix. Fresh tortillas are so good. And I'm trying to incorporate more whole grains. So I decided to use some hard white wheat today. These tortillas always turn out, this is my favorite sourdough tortilla recipe so far. And now we'll just knead it a little bit on the counter. It feels really nice. It's nice and soft. Okay, we're gonna let that sit on the counter. And I'm gonna let this ferment until tonight. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're just gonna leave this on the counter fermenting until we make the tortillas tonight for supper. It's 5:20, so our tortillas have been rising a little bit over 7 hours, and it's nice and puffy and fermented. So now we're gonna start cooking our tortillas. I've got my iron skillet preheating. It's on a 4 over here, and we're gonna get our dough out. And we're gonna divide it into 12. You can, if you want smaller tortillas, you can divide it smaller if you want to. You can make them whatever size you want. And then I'm going to stick them back in the bowl. And cover them up while we're rolling the other ones out so that they don't get dried out. Okay, now we'll roll out our first one. With these tortillas, I don't need extra flour. But if you need extra flour, you can. And I'm just going to be cooking them in a dry skillet. I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit. My skillet is smoking now. It's really hot. So I turn it down to a 2 now. I just try to get them as thin as possible. Okay, and now we're going to get our first one in the skillet. And while that's cooking on that side, we'll roll out another one, so we'll be ready. And that looks good. There's a little golden brownness on it, so we're going to flip that over. Okay, and that looks good. So we'll get our next one in. My tortillas are never perfectly round, but they still taste good. Okay, we're going to keep our assembly line going, and I'll bring you back when our tortillas are all done. Here's our delicious sourdough tortillas with whole wheat, freshly ground whole wheat in there. And we're gonna make some quesadillas. I've got some leftover Mexican rice and some Mexican beans and some taco meat. So we're gonna make some quesadillas. I did warm all the rice and the beans, and the meat is warmed up so that it'll cook fast. And I'm gonna get some oil in my pan. I'm gonna put a layer of beans on the bottom tortilla. These tortillas freeze really well too. Okay, like that. I've got some pepper jack cheese, and you can use any cheese that you like on your tortillas. Here's some rice. Here's some taco meat. And then we're going to get a tortilla on top of that. And it looks like it's already crisped up, so we're going to flip it over carefully. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Here's our quesadillas. And we like to serve ours with taco sauce and sour cream and jalapenos. It looks so good, nice and crispy. So let's give it a try. So delicious. Fresh tortillas are the best. There's so many things you can do with them. Quesadillas, tacos, burritos. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I hope that your day has been blessed, and I will see you all next time. Bye.